Have you ever wondered why some men can walk into a room and instantly attract attention, while others disappear into the background no matter how much they try? It's not luck. It's not looks. It's something far more subtle, a combination of energy, perception, and psychology that 95.7% of men completely misunderstand. Today I'm going to reveal the hidden truths behind this phenomenon, using storytelling, real-life examples, and Stoic wisdom to unlock a magnetism you never thought possible. 1. The invisible signal. Women can't resist. Meet Oliver, a 28-year-old from Manchester. Oliver isn't rich. He's not a model. Yet women notice him in ways that leave his friends baffled. The difference? Oliver emits what I call the invisible signal. It's not confidence in the traditional sense. It's a combination of self-possession, emotional stability, and unspoken intention. Women subconsciously scan for this signal. They sense a man who is emotionally anchored, who doesn't seek validation, who moves through the world with purpose. Psychologists explain this as nonverbal dominance plus emotional security. Women are wired to detect these subtle cues before a word is even spoken. In New York or Sydney, this invisible signal can be stronger than any flashy clothes, car, or pickup line. Women are drawn to it instinctively, without even realizing why. The lesson: your magnetic power is invisible, but it's always there. Cultivate it, and you'll notice women start chasing without any effort. 2. The paradox of emotional freedom. Consider Rachel, a 25-year-old in Toronto. She met Ethan, a man who didn't need her attention, who had his own life and who never begged or pleaded for connection. She couldn't stop thinking about him. She texted him more, made excuses to see him, and even tried to subtly compete for his attention. Why? Emotional freedom is irresistible. Most men chase because they feel incomplete without female attention. But the men women chase are those who don't require them to feel whole. This isn't arrogance or indifference, it's self-mastery. It's a Stoic principle. Happiness comes from within, not from others' validation. When a man embodies emotional freedom, women instinctively chase because their attention is no longer a given. It becomes a privilege. 3. The mirror effect. Why women chase who reflects their desires. Let's talk about a man named James in Los Angeles. James never tried to impress anyone. He simply lived authentically, pursued his passions, and made choices that aligned with his values. What happened? Women started mirroring his energy. They wanted what he had: independence, drive, and authenticity. This is the mirror effect. Women chase the reflection of their desires in a man. When a man demonstrates the qualities they secretly crave: purpose, emotional control, decisiveness, they're drawn to him as if by gravity. Notice this in London's elite circles or Sydney's high-energy social scenes. The man who is fully himself aligned with his purpose doesn't have to chase. Women chase him because he reflects what they subconsciously want to embody. 4. The power of selective vulnerability. Alex, a musician from Toronto, learned this the hard way. Early in his 20s, he thought he had to be stoic, mysterious, and untouchable at all times. Women were intrigued but never emotionally invested. Then he discovered selective vulnerability, the art of sharing just enough to create emotional connection without lowering your perceived value. He started sharing small, meaningful truths about his past struggles, ambitions, or fears, but always in a way that showed resilience and growth. The result? Women began chasing him not out of pity but out of deep emotional attraction. They wanted to connect because he opened a window to something real, but only enough to ignite curiosity. It's a Stoic twist on attraction. Strength isn't about never showing weakness. Strength is knowing when and how to reveal parts of yourself strategically. 5. The dopamine loop of challenge and reward. In Los Angeles, Sarah met Michael, a man who didn't always respond immediately to her texts, didn't always say yes to invitations, and sometimes disappeared from social settings without explanation. Instead of feeling frustrated, she found herself thinking about him constantly. Her brain was trapped in a dopamine loop. Uncertainty plus desire triggers a chemical addiction. This is not manipulation. It's psychology. The men women chase are often those who create subtle emotional challenge, forcing the brain to work for reward. But here's the key. It's done without cruelty or dishonesty. The challenge is natural and a byproduct of living fully and not being emotionally available at every moment. 6. The role of identity anchoring. Oliver in Manchester didn't chase anyone. He pursued his hobbies, traveled, and invested in his career. But women still chased him. The secret? Identity anchoring. Women are subconsciously attracted to men whose identities are anchored in purpose and values. When a man knows exactly who he is, what he wants, and where he's going, he emits a form of attraction that's far stronger than any superficial charm. It's why women are drawn to leaders, entrepreneurs, and creators. Not because of status alone, but because their identity is unshakable and magnetic. 7. The hidden influence of social proof. Meet Daniel, a 30-year-old in Sydney. He didn't brag about his dating life or wealth, but he had a subtle social presence. Friends admired him, colleagues respected him, and people sought his advice. Women noticed. They were drawn to him because of the respect and recognition he naturally earned from others. This is the power of social proof. Women chase men who are recognized by the world around them, not through artificial means, but through real achievement, competence, and respect. When you combine social proof with emotional independence and purpose, the effect is exponential. Women aren't just attracted, they pursue. 8. The subconscious pull of non-attachment. Consider Emily in New York. She met a man named Luke who had no agenda, no neediness, and no attachment to outcomes. She initially thought she could get him, but the more she tried, the more she felt drawn. This is the paradox of non-attachment. The less you depend on women for validation, the more they feel compelled to invest in you. It's classic Stoic philosophy applied to modern dating. Freedom from desire creates desire in others. A man who is not emotionally tied to results naturally becomes magnetic for the energy of growth and curiosity. Michael, a startup founder in London, never chased. He always pursued growth, learning new skills, exploring the world, and challenging himself mentally and physically. Women noticed. They weren't chasing his looks, money, or charm. They were chasing his energy of growth. Humans are drawn to vitality, curiosity, and evolution. A man fully engaged in his personal journey radiates energy that women instinctively find irresistible. Conclusion: the 95.7% statistic isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the subtle forces that govern human desire. It's about becoming a man who is rare, authentic, emotionally free, purposeful, and compelling. It's about living a life so magnetic that chasing becomes unnecessary. Women are drawn not because of who you pretend to be, but because of who you genuinely are. Whether you're in New York, Sydney, Toronto, or Manchester, these principles apply universally. The secret is inside you, not in tactics, not in tricks, not in chasing. Become the man who doesn't chase. Become the man women instinctively pursue. That is the Stoic power of attraction. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.